This your boy Ontoneyo for Gold Pager. I'm sitting with the infamous Lizzy Brodie. What's going on?
What's good? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. So, first of all, for people who may not know you, like, tell us a little bit more about yourself, like where you're from, where you grew up, things like that.
Well, I'm originally from Vermont. I grew up there, lived there for 24 years, moved to Denver 7 years ago. Next month, best decision I ever made. I've always been a hip hop fan, growing up with two older brothers, so I've always loved hip hop. I was always just trying to be up under my brothers and listen to what they're listening to and be cool like them. And I'm thankful the last 5 years, 6 years, I've kind of grown into the events and marketing and music industry businesses to rep a culture that I love. And now here I am, Lizzy Brodie.
Nice. So, what ultimately brought you from Vermont to Colorado?
My older brothers, they moved out here, they got married, they started having kids and family over everything, and I just couldn't fathom being an auntie on the other side of the country, so I moved out here so that I could be, with my brothers, with their kids. Yeah.
Family first. That's
Yes.
what's up.
100%.
So, when you were in Vermont, like, were you in the hip hop scene there? Like, did you go to shows and stuff like that?
I was a hooligan the last 7 years that I lived in Vermont. I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was getting arrested. House was raided. House was robbed. Lots of bullshit. That's for the book later on in life, though. That's for the book. But I went to a lot of shows. Not a lot, but I was supporting the local DJs, what there was, the local artists that we had. Vermont doesn't have many. Around 2006 is when I went to my first Method Man show, which was actually out here in Colorado. I'd come out for vacation. And then in 2007, I hit the Red Gone Wild tour. And that's kind of when I connected with these guys, and started going to shows ever since. So I didn't move out here until 2009. So the last couple years I was in Vermont, I was hitting the Red Man and Method Man shows, the Blackout 2 tour on the East Coast, and yeah, it was kind of like my introduction to.
So that kind of lit a fire under you to, like, not only be a viewer of the scene, but kind of get behind.
Yeah,
the scenes.
Everybody knows that those are my dogs. Those are my homies. That's family at this point. They, just being around them, I learned a lot about the behind the scenes and how a show is thrown together, and I was an observer. I just paid attention to a lot of things that were going on, and then once opportunities kind of presented themselves for me to act on some of the moves or create opportunities for them, I just kind of rolled with it and learned as I go. But definitely learned a lot from being around those guys, a whole lot. So it's been almost 10 years.
Again, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So tell us, obviously everybody sees you with, Man at the Red or Ghostface or all these names. Tell us how that kind of developed. Like, how did that relationship develop?
Well, like I said, I basically attended their shows, and I was Marky, shout out Marky, Doc's cousin, the guy who was sleeping on the floor at the MTV Cribs episode, right? So he had just seen me in the crowd. He thought I was cute, offered me tickets backstage. So I was like, okay. This wasn't, I wasn't on no groupie shit, but I was like, sure, why not? I ended up going backstage with my friend, and we ended up just kicking it. It was the first time I ever drank Patron. I was on probation. At the time, so I couldn't even smoke. Couldn't even smoke with them or anything like that. But I just was like, I was out there on vacation, so we were like, fuck it, this is cool. We ended up going up to Fort Collins with them for their next show at the Aggie Theater. And like I said, it wasn't all weird, funny shit. It was just some cool shit. Doc and his whole crew, Marky, Mr. Red, Stax, DJ Dice. Everybody just real around the way characters. Everybody was just super cool, and we just kind of stayed in contact and connected, and and then I just started hitting all the shows, and me and Doc have been cool for years. It took a while for me and Meth to get close, but You know, we're really close now. It took, you know, a few years ago, I just kind of had to say, hey, Meth, you know, whenever you're out here, you know, whatever you need, I got you. You know, I'm always like, hey, whatever you need, I got you. Just let me know. You need to go shopping, you need some food, you need some bud, whatever it may be, you know. And I just kind of stepped into that liaison position, and, you know, it just kind of gained that respect from them, from Meth, and, you know, they're my biggest allies in the music industry, and it's nothing but love and nothing but respect at this point. So thankful to be on their team and have them support me and be on my team as well.
That's dope. So how did you, so talk to us about like transitioning from just, you know, being at shows, being kind of liaison to launching the whole website, and what your vision for that was.
Well, basically, you know, when I became Lizzy Brodie, which is a kind of an interesting story, how I started going by Lizzy Brodie. My whole thought process was, man, you know, Denver is so dope, and there's so much great music out here, and there's so much cool shit happening, and there's so many, you know, the clothing lines or whatever, Ink Monster, you know, and I just kind of was like, I know this person and I know that person. I was networking a lot, and I just kind of, my concept was, how can I bring all this dope shit together? Like, how can I collab? You know, I never wanted to like work for anybody. I wanted to work with everybody. I wanted to be a, you know,
Connector.
Yeah, be a connector, just all these things. And once my name just, I mean, I just really networked like a motherfucker, really. I really did. And my name just started buzzing around, and people just started to recognize me and know me. I mean, I was going to shows, I was promoting shows, and people are like, who the hell is Lizzy Brodie?
We were talking about just like how you transitioned into being more of a, you know, personality, and creating a site where you could talk about, you know, what you want to write about, things like that. Where do you really see that going in the next couple of years, and like what ambitions do you have for the next few years?
Well, I really would love to see my website just continue to build. It's been 2 years next month since I launched it. It's doing really well. It gets a lot of love. So I'd like to see my website grow. I'd love to be able to staff writers, just be kind of that go-to site for, you know, dope shit only. That's kind of like my catchphrase. You know, I like to affiliate myself and my brand to anything that I personally think is really dope. You know, anything that I fuck with, I would hope that people will fuck with it too, because they know I got good taste, essentially. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so like, where have you got love from, like, that you kind of didn't expect when you first launched it?
I get a lot of international love. Definitely a lot of love from Europe, Germany, Sweden, the UK. I get a lot of music submissions from out there. I get a lot of love, you know, from Dallas. Shout out to Dallas, Texas. Some days I have more people on my site from Dallas than any other city, which is crazy because I really don't know many people out there. So check for me, Dallas. I'll be coming to see you. But, you know, New York, of course, Atlanta. I mean, really all the major cities. It's shit. I mean, I've had people on my site from Romania and, you know, Africa, and I'm just like, I can't believe there's people in these other countries that are on my site looking at my face, my logo, and checking out the shit that I'm talking about. But it's definitely really rewarding. It feels really good. It feels really great.
So you kind of alluded earlier that you started like going by Lizzy Brodie. So how did that start? How did that happen?
So the story of how I started going by Lizzy Brodie. So in 2010, I had a boyfriend at the time, and you know, he was a low-key hater, and he didn't like me going to concerts. He didn't like me being around any rappers, you know, whatever. And you know, at the time, I was going by Elizabeth. That's my government name, Elizabeth. So everybody called me that. At the time, there was a lot of Redman and Method Man were coming out here, and I was trying to do promotions for my homies, you know, and Doc was the only person who ever called me Lizzy. So when I just decided I would set up some social media pages under a different name, so Lizzy was the first name, and Brodie is my grandmother's, on my father's side, rest in peace, my grandma Pat, is her last name. Brodie is, I have a huge side of my family that's last name is Brodie. It's where I get all my Irish heritage from. So I have it tatted. So I have Brodie tatted. So I just went by Lizzy Brodie. And yeah, you know, almost 7 years later.
Which is really interesting. Which is really interesting, coincidentally, because people from Montbello and like Aurora call each other Brodie, which is kind of a Denver slang that's been here since the 90s.
Yeah.
So coincidentally, you fit right in where that was. So.
Yeah, somebody once told me that my business card should say, "Call you Brodie."
Yeah, real shit. That's dope. Okay, Ontoneyo, Gold Pager, back with Lizzy Brodie again. You know, we were talking about everything about how you got your name, to how you developed with Red and Meth and all the other people. It's been a lot of good things going on. Like if you follow your Instagram, you just got, you know, crazy parties, a lot of fun going on. Like, what do you, what's your ambitions for the next couple of years? Like, what would you like to do that maybe you haven't yet?
I'm definitely working to travel more. I've already been to LA 3 times this year. I'll be working an event with Idolized Clothing there on June 5th. You know, I really just want to be a part of some larger scale events, not just in Denver, you know, all over the place. Like I said, I want to go to Dallas and out to Atlanta. Just really just growing my brand and just trying to create opportunities for myself in other cities so that I can just travel and do things on a larger scale. You know, I just want to be known everywhere. I want people to know me everywhere and just respect me. I want to be involved. And I mean, there's so much dope shit that happens in Denver, and I've been involved for about 5 years, and it's been so good. I want to be able to go to Atlanta and be involved in their art, hip hop culture, and, you know, same with New York. I mean, I've already been out there, but, you know, just continue growing. I mean, life's blessed me, and opportunities are given to me all the time, and I guess I'm just trying to just keep doing what I'm doing and see what life gives me.
So just, you know, because obviously you're not from here, but you've been indoctrinated, so to speak, into Denver culture.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that Denver hasn't like received the national appeal as say as a Miami or, you know, LA or
like
Atlanta?
as far as
like
the
on the
music
mainstream?
scene?
Yeah, music scene.
Well, you know, a lot of us have our opinions out here for sure. You know, I'm sure a lot of us in the community can sit down and debate this and everything. I think that Denver is without a question a growing city. Has a lot to do with the cannabis culture. Absolutely, it's growing every day. We're seeing apartment complexes built downtown every day. You know, music-wise, I think that Denver lacks some of the platforms that it needs to be a focal point, specifically for hip hop and R&B. If that's, you know, I mean, that's what we're talking about. You know, I mean, the local radio stations don't support the local music scene as much as other cities. You know, there's really no major record labels here. We've got some great studios and some artists from out of town that come and record here. So, I mean, we have, you know, we have our pieces, but there is a disconnect. I think, you know, no major music magazines, you know, like there's no...
There's not enough media.
Media is essentially the word, you know.
Yeah, so right now, Lizzy Brodie's the site that you have to
But fuck with LizzyBrodie.com, you know, I'm gonna hold you down with what's dope, so.
Okay, dope. Well, you know, we really appreciate your time,
Thank you.
We'll be seeing more of you.
All right, thank
Cool.
you.